all right. Welcome to another edition of the Sloth Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I'm Dr. Bob.
And today we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about as we get our timer started.
I think I got it to work, yeah.
The first thing I want to talk about, and I want to get everybody that listens to this episode to weigh on this issue in the comments, and I want to know what everybody thinks of the logo.
Yeah, I think we had some comments a couple of times about the logo, but I believe when they, when I had to go back and re-upload the videos, I think a couple of them got lost. But I know I've seen at least one or two.
Really?
Yep.
I don't remember any.
I know I've seen one or two.
Interesting. Because, and it's not like, all the thanks to Scott Allen for doing it, and it's not like we want our money back or anything.
No, I believe, and it's really you, but you want it tweaked, right? You think
Here's the problem I have with the logo. I think it's deceptive. I think it doesn't represent the show at all. To me, when I look at the logo, I think of a children's cartoon about sloths. Like I literally see sloths walking around with balloons over their head and dialogue going on when I look at the logo. Now, obviously, as much as I think
we've got a different logo on like the on the other platforms. If you look at like Spotify, really? that's the logo that's got like a burning cigarette with cigarette smoke coming up.
But the same two sloths.
It's the same two sloths, yeah. But
that's I don't distinguish that as that much different. But I appreciate the effort. But
yeah.
And also in my defense, when you said, well, that's what you asked for, we discussed a caricature. Which, to me, when you say caricature, I think of the guy on the beach that makes a big giant face that looks like you, and then all the peripheral thing is the stuff that would be like possibly about a sloth or something like that. So in that respect, I don't think what we got was caricatures. But but they are caricatures.
Fair enough. But I think if we wanted that too, I think we would have to somehow all get in person so he could do this. Sit across from us
you said he had watched the episode, so he had seen what we looked at. That's why I said, oh, great, he'll be able to do. Anyway, but that's what I envisioned is something like that. But here's the other concept that I hadn't really thought of till not too long ago is maybe we want to throw him that curveball. Maybe we want them to think we're a silly little kids show.
To disarm them. Now, I don't, but then again, I watch a lot more animation than you do.
True.
So I don't even think of animation as, my first thought when I see any kind of animated thing is not that this is for kids. Like I'm so used to
No, I agree
all
about
the
that.
Adult Swim stuff
but
and everything.
Even the nature of the animation itself, to me, suggests like it's for kids.
Right. Well, maybe we could get it done in a more gonzo style or a more...
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm kind of striving for.
Okay.
To me, it just, if you look, or you just leave it and just have it be the subterfuge of, no, we're just a cute little kids show.
Right.
So everybody watching, comment and tell us what you think about the logo and what we should do, or if we should leave it, if we should change it. If we change it, what direction? What do you think we should do?
And also regarding comments, because we just talked about this, it seems like some of or we wanted to count views, so you wanted people to leave.
Yeah, that's right.
Even if you don't want to leave a comment, just leave a number or hit the number 1 or something.
Because that's just, we were talking about that, and I just don't understand how all right, first of all, we had over 200 views on episode 1, and I know they disappeared when you had to re-upload it.
Right.
But even before that, it went back down to 180 somehow. So how do you unview something?
Yeah, I don't know how you can do that. I know you can remove likes, but I don't know how you can remove views.
The whole thing is a mystery to me. So just as an experiment, everybody that watches the episode, even if you don't watch the whole thing, if you watch a couple of minutes, put a 1 in the comment.
Right. And if you're listening to us on one of the other platforms, then you have to go to YouTube and find us and then leave a comment. I don't think you can leave comments on Spotify, can you? I've never been able to.
But give out the number.
The number, which nobody still has left a message for. I've checked it many times. But 904-549-9024.
Yeah, if you can't leave a comment on YouTube or Rumble, go ahead and we've never figured out how to check comments on Rumble yet either, have we?
I've never seen one. Oh, that's actually not true. That's not true.
Comments.
I've seen a couple of them.
I've never seen them.
You can see them. I've seen 2, and I meant to bring this up with you, and I guess we'll have to do it after the show, and I'll show it to you if I can log into it with my phone.
The comment itself, you mean?
Yeah, but it's it's clearly some kind of bot And it's like some
You don't want to
sales
just
scam
discuss
kind
it
of
now?
thing.
We have to.
I
we
don't
have to
remember
speak-
the details of it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So, but it had something to do with, hey, I really think you guys are. It was somebody like blowing smoke up our ass and wanting to hire us or something.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen that comment on YouTube as well. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it's clear the way it's worded. It's clearly a scripted.
Yeah, I want to help you with. Yeah, right. It's like
Yeah. So other than that, I don't think we've gotten any actual genuine.
Which is funny too, because all the time I've like every once in a while on Facebook, I'm part of a Populi club. And every once in a while, I'll get an ad about how to monetize your podcast and this, that, and the other thing, and how to make how to streamline your marketing and get sponsors. And then I'm like, yeah, we really can't make any money yet. I mean, we can make some, but we either can't really make money or we got to make a really lot.
Right.
It's kind of like can't really be in between. So. Yeah, the marketing thing, not so important right now. Just got to get views up so that we can at least someday possibly make some money.
Views or just listening, in all honesty, if you can't stand the sight of us, which I could understand, just listen to us. The show takes on a different quality when you're just listening to it.
That's
so
true.
Your imagination comes more into play.
I must say, and the thing is, by the time I got into podcasting, I've never really listened to a podcast without watching somebody doing it. So that to me, and the few times that I've done it, and then when you see the person, it's like, oh, wow, that's what that person looks like or whatever,
I have actually, once we started doing this, and obviously for research purposes, I watch a lot more podcasts than I used to.
Oh, it's kind of like when I first saw the Love Doctors the first time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, that's what they look like. Okay.
I sent them one of the most brutal emails once regarding what they looked like. I think I told Dr. Rich that he looked like Bill Murray with AIDS. And I made some horrible comment to Lexus about looking to Rich as the father figure who she never knew. Or so. It was just vicious. Oh, yeah. I made fun of Dano's hair. I called him greasy. And I think I referenced Glenn's toilet eating sandwich.
Did we mention that we're giving Becca, kind of a golden ticket yet?
No, we haven't talked about it on the podcast.
Was it last episode she was on, or the one before that?
It was one of the two. I think it was the last one.
Well, anyway, we had Bangable Becca on a couple of episodes ago, or last episode, and we were so enamored with her and how cool she was that we basically told her she can come on anytime she likes. She can be our Lexus,
right?
Which is funny. On the phone, we both at the same.
Now she's not, or
no, she's busy. She had to work, so she's not coming next episode. But it's funny that we both in unison on the phone said, "Yeah, she can be our Lexus."
Yeah, perfect. Exactly.
She was great.
Charming and vivacious. Yep. Yeah, bubbly even.
Yep. All right, so let's get on to you. What do you got?
What do I got? Let's see. Oh, all right. I wanted to bring this up to you in light of all the recent news about crimes that are not crimes and things that people went to prison for and never did. So, in a roundabout way, it's linked. I get my monthly newsletter from the apartment complex I live in, and I always check it to see if I'm getting pest control that month or whatever. There's usually something entertaining in there, and I see one little paragraph that it catches my eye, so much so that I had to go to the office at some point later when I paid rent and ask the guy, like, "Is this for reals?" And the paragraph was concerning dog waste, saying that if you see people leaving dog shit, on the property, you let them know.
Snitch on your neighbor.
You snitch on your neighbor, and that they will have it tested, and that they have. And I wrote this down. They have the DNA of all the pets in the place is on register. So I immediately called bullshit. I'm like, "There's no fucking way, right?"
That's way cost prohibitive. There's no way.
Well, they make the tenants pay for it as part of the pet profile because you pay a huge deposit and then you pay a monthly.
It's a scam, then.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So I asked him in the office. I said, "So do you make everybody give you a sample? You take a sample of poo and you send that off?"
Apparently.
And he goes, "No." He goes, "It's a cheek swab." And I said, "Do you perform the cheek swab?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Are you witness to it when they do it?" And he goes, "No." I said, "So then you don't have the DNA of any of the dogs who live here, do you?" I said, "I'm going to start a bootleg business, swabbing dogs down at the pound." You know what I mean? I said, because to be quite honest with you, if you gave me that and told me to do it, that swab would be circling my anus and then going back in the bag and go, "Here you go. Here's my sample." And as long as I don't shit in the yard, I think we're going to be fine.
And I would shit in the yard just to prove a point.
just couldn't believe it. So the link to that, however, is that what I wanted to say is that so we can't, Epstein didn't do anything and they can't convict Diddy, but if a dog shits in my complex and nobody picks it up, they're on it. And they will track that guy down and prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law.
Which is funny. I just saw a post the other day about, I think it was yesterday or today. And I don't even know who or why was posting it and why they're so proud of this, but like, tourist busted in the Keys with a spear. Like, yeah, some guy had like a Hawaiian sling and was spearfishing off the beach. And I'm like, my comment was, do we really need, fish Nazis? Do we really need that? I mean,
wait a minute. Why was he busted? You're not allowed to have a spear gun?
Yeah, you're not allowed to spear fish.
Do you need a permit or is it just strictly prohibited?
No, you can't spear fish off the beach. Can't do it. It's against the law.
Has it always been against the law?
Yeah. Dude, I can actually tell you a story. I
did not know that.
I almost went to jail in high school. Remember Mr. Koff?
Yes.
Back in those days, I was an avid diver. Me and my buddy used to go to the inlet, in the rock. You dive the rocks.
Mr. Koff?
That's it, Mr. Koff. And you dive the rocks and stuff out there. And we used to go out there with our Hawaiian slings and get lobster, whatever the hell we could get. And we knew damn well it was highly illegal. Highly illegal. So sure enough, one day I'm out there with my sling and a frickin' Marine Patrol comes, driving up. So I just dropped the sling, and it's probably 20, 30 feet down, but he could almost still kind of see it. And he was like trying to accuse me and and I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is. It's not mine, And he made me get in his boat. He and my buddy had to get in his boat. He took us back, threatened us with all this shit. And I was like, we were like 16, 17, 18, maybe something like that. So I was just playing dumb. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I've never done it, but I always assumed that there was maybe a season for it or maybe you had to have some sort of permit.
Dude, here's the thing. There's people on the right especially.
They sell those spears.
There's people on the right especially that try to claim they're for law and order. And I tell them, I go, I can almost guarantee you're breaking a law right now. Whatever you're doing,
right? Well,
there's
so many laws
somewhere.
That it's almost impossible to know.
Absolutely, and it's just so crazy. And that being said, I wanted to talk about Diddy because I'm trying to figure out what exactly, like in my libertarian mind, what did he do wrong?
Well, honestly, the only things he could have done wrong was if there were minors, which I don't think that there were. I think everybody was 18.
And even if here's the thing, even if they say, all right, there was a 17-year-old, come on, man.
Yeah. We'll get into that, but so no minors. Now, if the filming was consensual, which it appears everybody knew that they were being taped, or the ones that were being taped were aware of it. If the filming was consensual and it was not used to blackmail somebody, well, then it's just a weird fetish and you're collecting tapes.
That's true. I'd forgotten about the whole blackmail
because that
aspect.
Is the aspect that I thought was going to get him in the most trouble, is that I thought they were going to find, and I assumed that there would be some minors as well, but there would be some sordid activity, maybe some gay activity. Was an actor that doesn't want people to know he's gay.
I'm sure there is.
And I would assume then that would have been used to blackmail. But if it wasn't used to blackmail, if it was just...
It wasn't. Exactly.
But other than that, been yet.
Other than the blackmail aspect, everything else is like, look, I mean, there's prostitution involved, which in my mind, because I'm a libertarian, look, that should be legal. It's all consenting adults.
As long as there's not a
financial
pimp involved, then I feel that it's the same thing. It's transactional.
And other than that, it's just a bunch of consenting adults getting together, doing freaky shit, using lots of baby oil. Who cares? Let them do whatever the hell they want to do. And even and I guess some of the argument was that the blackmail was within the business of music and stuff like that. Like, come on. Payola,
right.
Casting couches. They've been, it's not like we don't know. And, not that anybody that walked through the doors of that building didn't know what was going to happen.
No,
what was
and
going
certainly
on.
by the time, they had any kind of a reputation for throwing these kind of parties, you must have known.
Exactly.
And so I would say it boils down to, were they aware they were being taped, and were the tapes used for anything? And then I forgot to mention, there could be one other charge, but again, I didn't pay that much attention to it, but I could see it being a potential, is if any of the stuff was done to people while they were drugged. If he gave anybody something so that they were incapable of giving consent.
Which was actually kind of proved, I think. Well, I mean, I don't think anybody No,
But
that's
there's
true.
a difference between.
I've heard people say that they got drugged by him, but
Yeah,
I don't
if
know
you go there and you accept drugs that can lead to that, well, then
yeah,
you're kind
you
of
can- yeah, you can send it.
and some people that's a fetish. They want to be
That's
railed
true.
while
I
they're
forgot
passed
about
out.
that too. That would be worthy of a
But
charge.
yes,
they
if you
could prove
drugged
that.
them, then yeah, I would say that
I
that
wonder
is a
if-
form
I
of
don't,
sexual
I don't remember
assault.
anybody. Well, I mean, I didn't see all the testimony, but I don't remember them reporting about anybody testifying about that happening. Although I've heard millions of stories about it.
Right.
But, well, I shouldn't say millions. I've heard millions of rumors of stories about it. I heard one chick tell a story about it, but anyway. But I think that would bring us around to the other version of Diddy, Epstein.
The granddaddy version. Yeah. Yeah. And God, the gaslighting from Trump at this point with the, why are we still talking about this? Who cares about this? Apparently a lot of people still care about this.
Here's the thing that I saw, which the only thing that really, and I hope it's true, and if it isn't, there's going to be hell to pay. But the only thing that makes any of this make sense, and I saw somebody lay this out, is they're just squashing this for the time being because they're building some bigger case against all of the deep state. And very soon they're going to like pull the trigger, round up all these people, all the pedophiles and the CIA and this and that. And
I'm not buying it.
I don't,
I'm not buying that at all. And not only that, but even if that is what they're doing doing it in a very intelligent way. And the longer they wait, the more easy it is for the other side to say the same thing that he just said, which is the Democrats made it all up.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that they're bringing in Matt Gaetz as a special prosecutor.
Oh, God. Every pedophile's best friend.
I've seen them do a bunch of stuff about the whole Matt Gaetz thing, and it was a setup. It was like a honeypot type thing. Not to say that he probably doesn't like young women.
Right.
I'm sure he probably does. He's not that old.
There's a reason the honeypot worked.
Exactly. But he was definitely, I think, set up for that whole thing. As a matter of fact, he was set up by this guy. It was a business partner of his that was actually, the business partner who was getting young girls' fake IDs and keeping copies of them. And that's basically what they tried to get him on or something like that. I forget.
Kind of like that sick cop that Patrick Kendrick was talking about. He used to confiscate their IDs, but he wasn't making copies.
Yeah.
He was just taking their licenses.
Yeah. It was actually something kind of similar to that. And then I think he was using it to try and extort, or the partner guy was using them to try and extort sex out of the women or something. I forget what it was. But the bigger picture is, look, I mean, first of all, didn't Epstein do everything on that island? Is that island in the territory of the United States, or is
No.
it? Okay, so how can they prosecute him for doing anything on that island?
Well,
Okay, so you're prosecuting for taking people there and back. All right,
Yes.
that is the trafficking that he got
Yes.
convicted with, I assume. All right, but otherwise, anything done on that island, you can't prosecute him for it. It wasn't in America. Now, that doesn't mean they can't use it to blackmail people, but other than that, there's nothing legally you can do there. He's on his own island.
There might be nothing that American government or courts can do, but surely there's some court that deals with if you break international law.
Well, yeah, they say we should arrest Netanyahu, and he just talked to,
Right.
he's I think he's still in the White House
Which
right
is,
now.
Interestingly enough, this is connected to this in the same ways that Epstein is.
And here's the thing: everybody's like screaming, Epstein's a Mossad agent. No, he's not an agent. He's a money launderer, is what he is. That's all he's ever been. That's all he's ever done. Now, conveniently, he's also a pedophile. So that the Mossad can go, hey, since we conveniently have this island where all these pedophiles seem to like to go, hey, Jeffrey, why don't you get Bill and Hillary to come on over and, hold on, we got to wait, the cameras aren't working this weekend. Hold on, next weekend, and just do their thing. I mean, that's not beyond the purvey, but he's not a spy. He's just a pedophile banker.
No, but I do think he was recording everybody at cameras in all of his homes.
When you say he was, I don't think he was pushing the button.
No,
I mean,
he was. Yeah. His house was recording everybody.
He was using
those files were all being given.
Knew all about it,
Yes.
Absolutely, but it wasn't his idea.
And
I'm
I'm not entirely convinced that it was just Mossad. I personally think that it was Mossad and CIA together.
And here leads me to my next point,
because they're like this.
You know who killed JFK, right?
CIA?
Israel.
Oh, Israel?
Yeah, because they were getting the bomb, and he didn't want them to get the bomb. And the only thing I really can't figure out is and I'm sure it's probably in plain sight, is the inexorable link between Mossad and CIA that made it so they can go, look, we're going to use those guys you trained for Castro. We're going to take out JFK. Okay, the CIA obviously is complicit. The FBI, I don't know if they had anything to do with it. The mob supplied Jack Ruby to take out the patsy. That was a mob guy, Jack Rubenstein. He's a Jewish mob guy. So it's just so obvious now. It's like the only thing is, and think about it, the CIA and Israel started exactly the same time.
Really, 1948?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the CIA was right after World War II.
Right.
I think right in there.
Israel was like May 18th, 1948.
Yeah, I mean, CIA was sometime after Dulles, created it after World War II. I think it was like 46 or 47 or 48, somewhere in there. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, both those things and Mossad, obviously, all created at exactly the same time, probably very intertwined.
Some of the same people.
Yeah, absolutely. That are still intertwined to this day. I mean, when you hear some of the guys, like if you ever watch like Sam Tripoli or what's the good looking young dude with the mustache? Oh God, I can't remember his name. Ian Carroll.
Guys guy that's on the Candace Owens, the Candace Owens show.
Candace Owens, Whitney Webb. When you hear these guys talk about, and this guy is this guy's brother-in-law, and that guy is this, and they're all fucking related and intertwined, and it's like.
And that's just funny. That's history repeating itself too, because you think back at World War I when the leaders of all those countries were all cousins.
It's the same thing.
They were all.
It's the same
and one of them even
thing.
literally said, if our grandmother was alive, she would have never allowed this. Like Queen Victoria had still been alive, World War I wouldn't have happened.
It's almost some of the same bloodlines, just with different names, and it's crazy. And that leads me back to the fact that I don't think we landed on the moon, but the whole just erosion of reality lately that 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you'd have thought that, you'd be like, well, I don't know. That's pretty far out.
I didn't think I would live to see this level of erosion of the trust of institutions in this country. Like, I can't think of a single solitary institution anymore that has any trust in any. Yeah, we are slipping closer and closer towards pure anarchy.
Well, I don't even know about anarchy. It's just tell us the fucking truth. I don't give a shit what kind of government you are, but you can't lead by deception. And that's what they've been doing since, the dawn of time that we know of is, you can't, if you're going to claim to have a democracy, you might want to try going with a democracy.
The problem with even assuming that there is still some sort of democracy left, people that argue against the existence of a deep state, which clearly we're not either one of us or those kind of people, but to think that the greatest country, or the most powerful country in the world, arguably, largest economy, certainly the most powerful military in the world, to think that we would do everything on a 4-year plan is insane. Of course there's a deep state, and there almost assuredly always has been. Yeah. Because how else could you even have long-term goals and long-term plans if everything changes every 4 years and then every 2 on the midterms and then I think it's ridiculous.
Now that we've basically...
and the reason why one party never... Trump really, no pun intended, but never really trumps the other party is the same reason why Tom never gets to eat Jerry. Because if Tom eats Jerry, the show's over.
Yep, exactly.
No more show, folks.
So the question is then, at least in America's instance, do you think there was a point that it got captured by a deep state? Do you think there was ever a point that it was actually a free country?
I think it was started with some good intentions, but even those...
Yeah, I mean, those were Freemasons.
Right, and the Founding Fathers were all into, the term yellow journalism was even created back then, but most of our Founding Fathers either owned or supported printing presses in their own newspapers, and they all wrote slanderous, vicious lies and whatnot about each other. True. They were no different than the the way that people run negative ads now. They just didn't have the technology.
Came up with a document as great as the Constitution, which if we went by that,
and I think we started off pretty strong as far as history goes, but it's been a steady erosion, and there certainly have been key moments and times where huge losses were made.
The problem with at the very beginning, the original sin was all men are created equal, except for these dark people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the original sin that, once we got over that, well, that we'd never really have gotten over, to tell you the truth. There's still economic slavery for sure. But I mean, that was the original sin. But, you have to think, why would these people that want to control everything from from the subterranean, from the shadows, why would they create a document that says this is the perfect fucking way to run a country, and then just ignore it? It doesn't make any sense.
I think there's been periods in history where it's been eroded more than others, and I think probably the Civil War obviously was one big one, probably the first big one.
Yep.
And then after that, I would say probably 1913 with Woodrow Wilson and the creation of the Federal Reserve and the federal income tax.
Absolutely right.
I would say a big one happened in the 70s when we went off the gold standard.
Well, you forgot the 40s when FDR turned us into a socialist country.
Yeah, you're right. I did. I was just picking some at random, and I was trying to go in a straight line.
But
I would even say
then the gold standard.
I would even say the adoption of everybody having a credit score in 1989 is certainly a step in the wrong, another step in that direction.
And that's just a joke. Oh my God. I love walking up to black people going, I guarantee you got a better credit score than me. I guarantee it.
Right.
It's so crazy. And I talk to people all the time, like on Facebook, like, yeah, well, what's the HOA on this place? They're like, well, you have to qualify for this and that, and you have to have a credit score of something. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I don't have a credit.
You can't have a credit score unless you have debt.
Yeah.
So
I don't have one.
If you have no debt, which would obviously mean that you should be the most worthy of all because you have no debt.
I tell them,
you have no credit.
I tell them, I go, look, I have way too much money to have a credit score. But I have a broke friend that has a great credit score. Can we use him? And they're like, oh yeah, that's great. He can't pay attention, but he's got a great credit score.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's not that great, but yeah, it's a little better.
Yeah,
and only because I, borrowed a little bit of money here and there and paid. It's not because of.
No, exactly.
There's certainly no reason I'm poor as hell.
The whole thing is just ridiculous, and everybody's completely invested in it, like it means anything. And it's just like, what a joke, And
it used to be. I mean, obviously, I graduated in '89, so I was, I wasn't an adult before this happened. By the time I was an adult, credit scores were a thing. But at least then, or like in the '90s, they were only for getting loans or things like that. Like you wouldn't get your credit score checked to rent an apartment.
Right.
You wouldn't get your credit score checked to apply for a job.
And not only that, back then, I think there was only one agency.
Correct.
Now there's like, what, 5?
Right. And I also don't think that when they first started that, checking your credit would affect it the way it does. Like now, if somebody runs a credit check on you, it makes credit go down.
Yeah, sure.
Why? You didn't take a loan. You didn't miss a payment. All you did was look. You know what I mean? So you look behind the curtain and automatically you pay an infraction for that. The whole thing sucks.
The whole thing's insane. And the whole other thing, like I watched the whole mentality of, and I guess this is a product of society, but the whole mentality of everybody should get a job, and that's it. Then you're good for life. Well, wait a minute, but I'm working for somebody else. And I mean, maybe it's just me, but do you ever have a job and be like, look at the guy that owns a place and go, not only could I do that, I could do that better.
I've had a couple that way. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
So at what point would you go, fuck this being an employee. Why aren't I doing that, making all the money, and these people working for me?
Right.
Where is that sentiment ever taught in our society at all?
Well, it's taught by parents to their children, by successful parents teach their kids that. The difference between what
I was never taught that.
Well, you should have been. Yeah. I was never taught that either. But my point is the difference between what the general population or what we think of as American culture, what they know, and what little subsets know is completely different. Here's a good example: is you might hear lawyers tell you, never talk to the police. But a lot of older generation, a lot of conservatives think that, well, if you have nothing to hide, it's fine. Every kid whose parents are cops, they all know not to talk to the police.
Yeah.
The cops tell their own kids what the real deal is. And I feel that people that are financially well off, that understand the market and the system and that kind of thing, probably do teach their kids these things. And those kids probably don't. I guess
what happens is that's where you get family-owned businesses where, everybody's works. Nobody's an employee in my family. They all work here. Or if they are an employee, they work for the family, which is not really being an employee. That's like when you do chores at your house.
Right. My maternal grandfather had a couple of businesses up in a tiny little town in Tennessee, and he made all his kids work for him for sure.
Of course, yeah. And then and if nothing else, you learn how to do something.
Right.
You get some kind of vocational training, at least yeah. But
my mom hated working there. She hated working at the store.
Oh yeah.
I even talked about
what kind of store?
It was a little like a gas station. It's called Wolf Creek Grocery.
So basically just manning a cash register.
Yeah, but it was a
convenience
store, and it had a little diner attached in the back.
Okay, so that's
hot food, and then
right.
also the bait shop that I've told my own horror stories about with the crickets and the bait shop.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Mom hated working there. She used to be real smart ass about her comments to be. She was once asked by some hillbilly there, because you could also buy fishing licenses. Speaking of things you're not allowed to do without a license, and some old hillbilly asked her what the difference, and he meant in price, between the 3-day and the 10-day was, and she looked him right in the eye and said, "It's about a week, you know, yeah, it's about a week. That's the difference." Your daughter's a smart ass, he told Paul.
I love that's like that scene from Sling Blade. It ain't got no gas in it.
Exactly. See that, Scooter? Thanks to the simplest things first.
That's great. All right, what else you got? You got anything else?
What did I write? This is such a bizarre left-wing thing, and it doesn't mean anything, but it's just something that I didn't realize. I was listening to Spotify, one of my mini rides. I like to listen to a lot of comedy stuff. It's nice and light, and a lot of Weird Al Yankovic and shit like that. And occasionally they'll play
comedy music.
Yeah, comedy music. When they in skits and whatnot, but every now and again they'll throw in an old classic. And so I'm listening in that old classic, One-Eyed Flying Purple People Eater song, the one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater, right? And I've heard that song a million times as a kid, you know what I mean? And in my mind, and I've even seen weird little animation videos for it and stuff, and it's always a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple thing chasing people.
Who did that song?
I'd have to look it up. I want to say Sheldon something, some weird one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to be one.
But if you listen to the lyrics of the song, he talks about it's not the monster's not purple, it's eating purple people. It's purple people eater.
Right.
Which I just thought was odd. I never really thought about it or noticed it before as a kid. It makes me wonder, what does he mean by purple people? Who the hell are purple people?
Well, couldn't it be interpreted either way? Like it's either eating purple people or it's purple and eating people?
No, there's a lyric in there that's very unambiguous.
Oh, okay.
And it clearly states, I'm out eating purple people or something. So and he's clearly saying that people themselves are purple. And again, like I said, it's a complete trivial non sequitur. I have no idea where it's going to go from a conversation, but what was he trying to say? What was the subtext? Who are the purple people?
Dude, that song is so old.
Yeah.
I mean, that was around when we were kids, right? I mean,
no, before I was a kid. Maybe when you were a kid. You're a little older than me, but I think it's even before your time.
Well, I remember it from when I was a kid.
Have you ever heard of a group? I think they're Australian. They're called Tripod, and apparently there's 3 of them. I'm not sure how old they are, but they popped up in my rotation too. And for any of our listeners out there with a sick, twisted sense of humor, do yourself a favor and check out the song "The Hot Dog Man" by Tripod. It's one of the funniest things I've heard in a long, long time. It starts off all bright and cheery and nice.
Is it as vulgar as it sounds?
No, it has nothing to do with what you're thinking, but it definitely takes a very, very dark turn. I don't want to spoil it, but it starts off very happy. They're singing about this nice hot dog vendor guy who keeps his cart especially clean, and he takes the time to learn all the customers' names, and he's always smiles, and he likes the personal touch, you know. And then as the song goes on, it gets darker and darker. And one of the guys, Masons, he has certain needs his wife can't fulfill. Turns out the hot dog man's like a serial killer. And yeah, it's a very dark song, but hilarious as shit.
Nothing that AI would come up with, huh?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't.
Tailboard right into that.
Yeah. What was his name? Eli? The video I sent you, Eli Mercer or something?
I forget. I don't know. But
the YouTuber, Rick
wasn't
Beto.
he on The Voice? It's like, I'm telling you, it's the same thing. It's like.
Yeah, but at least, I know. And well, first of all, let's give the listeners an idea what the hell we're talking about. So there's a YouTube channel. I think his name is Rick Beto.
Beto, yeah.
And he had a video the other day about, AI artists. This artist really sucks or whatever. He basically used 2 different AI platforms, Claude and Suno, to create a song and an artist, an indie, whatever. I think he sounds like a country artist, but that's country and indie. An alternative is kind of.
Yeah, no, he had said in the video, it was it's country was in the description.
Okay, I thought indie, but anyway.
Yeah, indie country.
Right.
Yeah.
And a serviceable, cheesy ass song. And you did send me an email saying, well, it's no different from American Idol with teams of this, but at least the teams were people. at least people were getting paid or involved or whatever. You know what I mean?
But
this is literally just a guy entering a prompt.
Is taking the manufacturing of the music from a team of writers to AI. I mean,
You're cutting out every one of those writers. Those are all jobs that are on.
I don't notice any real lack of authenticity. Is my point.
Yeah,
it's still just manufactured hits.
Right.
It's like I don't know.
My only point was that it was bearable. It was you know what I mean. Exactly. It wasn't a horrific song, and to be quite honest.
That's exactly the way I feel about anything that came from The Voice.
My mom probably would have liked it, especially she was like,
dude,
"Oh, he's so cool."
The masses of people will freaking love it. They're going to love it and eat it up like it's freaking best thing since sliced bread.
He named his character. I was thinking it was Eli Mercer. It was Eli something.
I forget what it was.
But
it's
generic. It's a complete AI generated image, AI generated lyrics, AI generated music.
They were going to eat it up. They're going to love it. They're going to love it.
I was looking at the comments.
There'll be a strati of people that can tell the difference.
Right.
That there had always been, like that guy. I think I told the story in high school that paid $1,000 for a needle on his turntable. He's going to be able to listen to that right away. Yeah, that's garbage.
And the comments for that video were classic too, because I think I'm going to get the name wrong, but somebody wrote something like, "I think Zach Bryan's getting real nervous right about now," or some country guy that this dude sounded like. It's like, I can see how you would be.
I mean, you're going to have to step it up if you just want to. You're going to have to do something better than AI.
Right.
I
did finally listen to that Scorned Woman song, the Oliver Anthony song you're talking about.
Right?
It was okay. I didn't think it was nearly as good as his first one.
No, I agree. I agree. It's not but it's still a pretty good song.
It was okay. I didn't think it was that great.
It's got a lot of emotion to it. Especially if you've just been recently scorned, I bet you would probably connect with it a lot more.
Well, that's a lot, yeah.
But I wanted to broadly talk more about AI. Like, for instance, Bill Maher I've never seen him scared of anything as much, as AI since his Muslims, but he is petrified of AI. You know what scares me more than AI? If the power goes out. That scares the shit out of me. If they said, "Oh shit, there's no more power for the foreseeable future," that scares the shit out of me. AI.
It's funny you say that, because that's really the one. I mean, that's the biggest drain of what AI is the amount of power it takes to train it. And I can see them reaching a point where they'd have to make a decision of do we let the humans have the electricity, or do we let the AI keep having it so it can keep computing?
That scares me.
And they're going to let the AI have it.
That being said, I've been witness to so many great uses of AI. AI lawyers. It's unbelievable. They plugged in a video of this guy at a traffic stop, asked AI to tell him all the Constitution. The AI prints out all the things that he did wrong, all the charges that need to be brought against him. Boom, zoom, zoom. You're done. It's insane how insanely great that is. AI robots for plumbers. Somebody on one of our
that do what?
Anything you don't want to, which is deal with any kind of crap,
So you mean a robot that can perform tasks that a human could do,
or AI things that you send off into the sewage system to look for problems or whatever.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But
to go into the pipe.
Right.
Like nanobots and stuff like that.
Yes. Well, I guess that's different from AI, but it's kind of related or whatever.
Right. Because I think the first jobs that are going to go to AI are going to be all the white collar jobs. It's not going to be the blue collar jobs.
Absolutely.
And the irony of that for how many decades have blue collar jobs been looked down upon, and if you don't go to college, you're wasting your life, and it doesn't matter the debt you accrue, you'll make it all back.
But a lot of those are going to be gone too.
And
the thing is, the reason I said that is I think somebody made a comment on one of our, or a comment somewhere. Maybe it wasn't one of our podcasts, but anyway, one of their comments was, "Well, at least I'm a plumber. I'll be safe." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be one of the last ones to go. Yeah, you're safe for now. But eventually they'll come." And that'll just require the price of robots to come down.
True.
They can almost make the robot to do it now. They're just ghastly expensive. So
true.
But once the price of a robot comes down to the point where it's cheaper than ever paying a person, and it never gets sick or dies or gets tired or cheats or steals or lies, why wouldn't you hire it? Why wouldn't you use it? But all these white collar jobs are going to be replaced by AI agents. All of these secretarial positions, office managers, anybody that does any kind of scheduling, editing.
I feel bad for the people that are losing their jobs, but I can't wait.
What about the classic line, learn how to code? That's going to be one of the first things that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. There have been many people that commented like, God, I mean, that turned out to be not, that didn't age
soured
well.
like milk.
Yeah, that was not good at all. Not good at all. And now, so staying on the technology AI. All right, so you've seen the video of the Tesla running over the fake kid they pull out in front of it.
Right.
But if there was somebody standing in the street, the Tesla would stop, right? If somebody was just standing in the street, the Tesla's going on auto drive or whatever, and it comes up and there's no way to get around the person, it just stops, right?
In theory.
All right,
It's supposed to.
Does it do that while you're if you're driving?
It's supposed to, yes.
So if in fact I wanted to enact or I wanted to act in a lawful way, and my Tesla got surrounded by protesters, how would I run them over?
You have to override it, maybe? I wonder if it would allow you to. Maybe it would have to check.
And by protesters, I mean a DOI checkpoint.
Right. It would have to check, of course, with GPS to make sure, see what state it was in, whether or not it would be legal for you to override the system and run the people over in order to save your own life or to escape the DUI checkpoint in your case.
It's so crazy, the land we live in right now. And speaking of crazy, did you know that peace in Ukraine depends on Bridget Macron? I'm not sure why, but apparently, you didn't hear about this?
No.
Okay, you don't watch Candace Owens, right?
No, not really.
All right, well, Candace Owens got a call from President Trump. But, well, you know her thing about Bridget Macron, right?
That she has a penis.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Or had one.
Correct. She got a call from President Trump saying, hey, you know what? We're really close on this deal in Ukraine. Could you lay off Bridget Macron? I'm dealing with her husband. Can you, what the fuck? What?
I've seen some.
The peace in Ukraine depends on how Bridget Macron feels about Candace Owens.
I don't see how that works. I've seen a couple of photos of her in her younger years, and
I don't even care about that. I don't even care about that issue. But even if I don't care if Candace Owens is completely wrong barking up a tree, what the fuck's that got to do with peace in Ukraine?
I don't get it.
It's insane. It's like, and what is, Trump's just an idiot. Did he think this wasn't, and actually Candace said she kept it under her hat for, I think it was a couple of months or something like that before she came out and said, look, Trump called me and asked me to shut up about this for Bridget Macron. And I'm like,
I think at a certain point you have to give up the illusion of the 4D chess game, right? At a certain point, I don't think that's what's going on.
God, I'm just like, are you shitting me? Peace in Ukraine depends on what kind of day Bridget Macron's having. Like, I'm having a rough day. Let's keep the war going.
Right.
I'd really feel much better if that Candace Owens would shut up about me, and then we could maybe have peace.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize France had that much control over the whole situation.
That's apparently who Trump's, negotiating with. I don't know. Maybe it's through France to talk to Putin or something. I don't know. But I don't know. That just blew me away. I was like, you got to be shitting me. It really, peace in Ukraine depends on Candace Owens, not. It's insane. Insane. All right, you want to talk about the? Let's talk about DeSantis building the Obama FEMA camps out in the.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God! All right, first of all, my first comment is, they should have just got the Ringling Brothers. They could have put it up in one day.
Fair enough.
They're over there bragging about putting this up in 8 days.
The Pennsylvania Dutch, if they wanted to build it in the Amish country, they could have put it up real fast.
And you look at it, it's like it's a bunch of barbed wire, chain link fence and tents. Barnum and Bailey could have done that in half a day. They do that every day. Why did it take 8 days?
And they got more experience dealing with animals. Case of the Gators. Do they even have Ringling Brothers? Or circus is even a thing anymore? It's so politically incorrect.
I don't think so. I think they gave up.
And if they do, what are they at this point? Just Cirque du Soleil, just a bunch of acrobats and weirdos?
But I think
there's no more animal acts, I don't think.
I think the only thing Ringling Brothers left is they got a museum over in Sarasota or something like that.
I remember when they, as a kid, when they would come to town, we would go see them at the West Palm Beach Auditorium.
My mom used to take my pickup truck and go buy beds full of elephant shit for her garden. It's great, great fertilizer. Yeah.
Yeah, the smell of the circus back then was, there's no mistaking it and no recreating it. Thank God.
All right, you got anything else? I'm down to a couple of things.
Wait, weren't we just talking about immigration?
Kinda, yeah.
I can't remember. Refresh me. What our comment was?
Well,
the DeSantis, the alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny how different states deal with, whether it's a blue state or a red state. Here in DeSantis is all on board getting the alligator Alcatraz built. And then did you see the name of apparently there's a federal judge in California that was trying to block the ICE raids, the Trump order, basically standing up to Trump. Did you see her name on the news? Mm-mm. Look, I know this is an American. She is an American. She was born in L.A., but, this whole blue Democratic area, whatever. Her name is, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce this properly, Maame Awusi Mensa Frimpong. The only thing that name is missing is a...
Okay, that was it, isn't it?
That was the joke. Yeah, I warned you it was coming. I had to look it up several times to get the pronunciation right. It's a long list of names.
Oh my Lord.
Frimpong is the last name.
Oh my Lord.
But yeah, so that's the difference between California and Florida.
Well, I mean, she's on board with Trump because Trump's now saying, "Oh yeah, we got to let the farmers and the hotels and all those keep their employees." He's totally back.
I didn't see that yet.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Kirk is saying, "Oh, now Trump's threatening amnesty for all immigrants." It's insane, dude. The whole thing is crazy, and it's like
flip flopping in every direction on every issue, and
and it's like, look, here's my thing on immigration. You're not keeping anybody out of the country if they want to get in the country. I'm glad Trump won. I'm glad the spigot of free stuff that was bringing people in is off, so people stop coming here. That's great. If people want to come here, they're going to come here. You're not going to keep them out. And here's the only thing you can possibly do. Don't give them a Social Security number. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. They're not part of the system if you don't have a Social Security number. You're just a foreigner in here doing whatever the hell you do.
Well, like you said, if you turn off the spigot, which is the spigot of an incentive, if you make it no longer they would want to, then only people that truly are seeking sanctuary or really do want to try to work hard would still find their way to get in here, and some criminal elements as well, which they would deal with when they get caught doing a crime.
Exactly, and a lot of you know how I feel about legalization of drugs, which would solve so many problems, and then again, and the other thing, I remember the other time I said another thing I wanted to talk about is, if you used all those resources to go after these pedos, all right, here's the thing about all this huge pedo problem that they have. Where are the parents? Where are the parents of all these kids? I mean, they're saying there's, 10,000?
Well, they say there's 300,000, but they've found 10,000 or something.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. So in 6 months, they found 10,000. So it'll only take you 29 and a half more years to find the rest. It's like...
And now, Jeff, going back to Epstein for just a second, and I just want to get to this point out there. And I just watched a video about this, and it was by some clinical psychologist. So I just learned this fact myself. I wasn't aware, and I'm not sure if the distinction even matters or not. But Jeffrey Epstein was not technically a pedophile. Apparently, the actual definition of a pedophile is somebody who is attracted to or performs lewd and sexual acts with prepubescent children.
Well,
all of the victims in Epstein's case, with the possible exception of the French 12-year-old triplets that the story goes, but the youngest was like 14. These were definitely minors. They were definitely underage, and what he did was still illegal, but they were pubescent. Right. Which there is a distinction there. And there isn't a technical term for it, but I can't think of what it is right now. The guy said it.
Which doesn't matter whatsoever because he's on a private island. He can say the age of consent is 2. It doesn't make any damn difference.
Well,
it's and the other. But I'm like, all right. So if all these people, why aren't their parents like all over the place going, catch these pedos? Where are the parents for all these kids that are supposedly being trafficked and sexualized and this and that and the other?
Sadly, this is a really disgusting and sad thing to tell you. And this isn't all of them, obviously, but there is a more than substantial percentage of them that the parents are involved in the sexual trafficking and the usage and the abuse. And then, hooked up with other people that.
And yet you don't hear about any of them really going to jail.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah,
in some of the sting operations.
But you know who you don't hear about going to jail? The employees of illegal immigrants. I haven't heard about any of them going to jail.
The employers, you mean?
Oh, yeah, employers. I'm sorry.
Of illegal. Yeah, that's a really good point.
It's like, wait a minute.
Right. It's like basically modern-day slavery.
You saw the big raid on the weed plant in California, right?
With the miners
and they're pulling children out of there. It's like, well, wait a minute. Then somebody that runs that place should probably be going to jail, right?
Yeah, one would think. One would think.
It's crazy. The whole thing's just crazy.
No, it's a sick world, and we live in it.
Yep. So and it's a sick, dangerous world because especially if you're camping in a dry riverbed in Texas, not a good thing to do. And I got in trouble for, not being sympathetic enough for those. Good God, that my heart goes out to all those people. I mean, if you think about it, what a horrible way to go.
Horrible,
Yeah.
Especially. I can't imagine being a parent. Well, I've never been a parent, so I can't even imagine that. But I can't imagine being a parent and having your kid at camp. You're thinking they're off somewhere at a safe place with counselors and supervisors having a good time, and then you lose them there while they're doing an act of nature. That's insane.
It was tough.
Horrifying.
But at the same time, it's like, as we said before, it's like, Trump's like, it's a 500-year, 1,000-year. It's 40 years ago, dude. 40 years ago.
Yeah,
they should
it
know
happens
better.
in that spot.
What did they do since last time? And I don't think as many people got killed last time, but certainly people got killed last time it happened. What did they do? Did they, not demark, like, hey, look, don't build your house here. Right. There's been a flood. It's going to wash away someday. Because there were whole houses and neighborhoods they let build.
Some sort of alarm system that could be incorporated.
Well, a lot of people
air sirens for tornadoes out in the Midwest.
That's a big story. Is apparently the one place where all those kids were camping, they supposedly didn't spend $70,000 on a siren and spent it on the cops or something instead. And so a lot of people, that's some of the thing I guess some of the people were bitching about, like.
Right.
But
Have you ever lived in a town that had one of those air sirens for tornado warnings?
Dude, they used to blow sirens here when I was a kid.
Never heard them here.
Oh, yeah. They used to. Well, I think it was at the Armory over by Cayuga. Every once in a while, they would just blow this siren for.
I've never heard one down here. First time I ever heard it was.
I haven't heard them do it in a long time. And this is like back in the 70s.
The first time I ever heard it was in Ohio. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I'd never heard it before in my life. And honestly, I thought there was some kind of fucking invasion or something going on. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but I mean, before you go trying to blame Trump, you got to go look. These people were here. Somebody should have done something 40 years ago to say, hey, we should probably do something to make sure that doesn't happen again. I mean, build dikes, build somewhere to channel the water, do something.
Right. Certainly don't build any permanent structures there. But
which
even
they did.
Right, but even camping and part-time stuff is, you need some sort of early warning system or alarms or sirens or something, or just,
And now, I don't know if you've seen, but apparently there's freaking flooding everywhere now. Did you see New York?
No.
Dude, the subways in New York are flooded. Right now.
I know just yesterday there was crazy rain in Gainesville, and so I remember going on the radar.
Yeah, we had
and it was astonishing. When I looked at the radar, there was a line of thunderstorms going from down here, all the way up into North Carolina. And I didn't keep looking to see if it actually went straight up the entire country, but mayhaps it did.
And do you think there was any cloud seeding going on in Texas, or do you think that it would have make any difference?
I don't know if there was, but I don't think it.
No, they say there was. They're saying even the cloud singing guys.
It couldn't have had that much, that kind of an effect, that devastating an effect.
I mean,
if we had the ability to do that, we would no longer need a military. We would just cloud seed our enemies and destroy them with rain and blame it on God.
I would contend we have the ability to do the cloud singing. We just have no way of making sure where it falls. It's like you could try to cloud seed some enemy territory, but what if it blows it to somewhere else?
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't think the effect of cloud seeding causes enough rain and damage to where you could use it as a weapon. But because if we could,
well, if that's what happened in Texas, I would say you could. But,
and I don't think that's what happened.
I don't believe that's actually the thing either. All right, well, the last thing I have on here, and I thought this was so fucking hilarious. Apparently there's a thing, and I want to say it was in Texas, called the Heterosexual Awesome Festival. Have you ever
Straight pride.
Have you ever heard anything more gay in your life?
No. It does sound pretty gay.
It's like, oh my God.
But basically straight pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a big festival, and it was like a carnival and stuff like that. I'm like, nobody.
So then just like a country music concert.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And I think there was country music there. It's just like, who cares? Who do you think is saying you're not straight? Or who cares if you're straight? I mean,
yeah.
Are the LGBT people like screaming at him in public or something now? Or what would possibly cause something like that?
attention seeking. He's trying to, or trying to play the victim. Like, we need to have our own.
That's about the only thing that makes any sense. It's like, oh yeah, they got their drag queen, hour or whatever. So now we got to get our. But yeah, that's just.
Did you see footage of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it on par with? All right. So, gay pride festivals, you will frequently see guys wearing some outfits that are.
Yeah, no.
Very proud. They're very proud of what they're doing, right? And it's really something you should only be wearing in a bedroom or maybe in a dungeon, to be more precise.
This is true.
Did you see any of the straight people exhibiting the same exuberance in their clothing?
It was just like it was almost like a church event kind of.
So there was nobody walking their wife around on a leash, whipping her in public or anything.
No.
That's a totally different festival.
Yeah, no, there were like kids there and stuff, but
that's Moonfest.
So. Right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but I was just like, God Almighty, that's just like literally the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life. That you would have to go out there and go, I'm hetero and proud. Like
it reminds me of the Little Rascals, He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah,
the Alfalfa's Club, and Spanky.
Yeah, that's pretty close. But there were women there and children, and yeah, it was just so bizarre. I'm looking like, what would even. I kind of wish I'd have paid attention to like what organization was putting it on. I would have to assume it's probably a church. It would have to be a church or something like that, or I doubt it. Well, maybe a political action committee or something.
Could have been a conservative political action group.
Yeah, something like that. But otherwise, who the hell would? I mean, go through all the work of as a sloth doctor, why would you even go through all that?
Way too much work to go into there.
Yeah, like just to say I'm straight. Like who cares?
I think they were basically just a giant singles thing. Everybody went there to hit on other people. At least
now you got something. See, now if they have it here, now I'm going.
Right.
All right, I think we'll probably wrap this one up. Give them the number.
Oh, the number 904-549-9024.
Somebody please call and leave us a comment on just to break the hymen of the voicemail.
Yes.
Existence, and subscribe is obviously the greatest.
Subscribe and obviously look for us on all the other many platforms that we're now on. Well, don't look for us, but listen.
Right, and if you're watching this episode, please put a 1 in the comment. And then also tell us what you think about our logo. What you think, if we should leave it the same, if we should change it. If we do change it, how do you think we should change it? And I guess we're about see you guys in the next one.
Yep, we'll see you next time. Thanks.